Hey all, how are you? This is me. I haven't done one of these gosh, since I lived in Minnesota, I think. Well, wow. I have some information for you guys. Well, the whole concept of what happened, with that person that I knew in the past. I mean, they wrote another thing on my YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, and basically made their threat again and said, you know, you guys are a danger to the transgender community, so your lives are now in danger. Consider this a warning. And I was like, as if, I mean, I don't know why they think that they can just bully people, but it's not going to work because I mean, it's just not going to work. We're not going to tolerate people, trying to bully us, to tell us to, you know, to shut up basically, for speaking out about this community that is absolutely out of its mind. I mean, seriously, when you have the pedophiles actually trying to make their way into the LGBT, you've got yourself a problem. I mean, this is going way too far. We need to really understand that this is not going to end well. So if you're an L, if you're a G, if you're a B, if you're a T, Q, I, or whatever, please understand that, condoning the actions of other people is just not a good idea. Just not a good idea. So anyway, this person, I knew them in the past. They were a friend of mine back early when I first did this lunacy, which is impossible to literally think that you can become the opposite sex. It's just not possible, right? But when I was believing in it and I was subscribing to it and I was saying everything that everyone in the trans community wanted me to say, I had lots of friends, and a lot of those friends were very much for the whole trans, concept and stuff. So I obviously, they would watch my videos. They would say, "Oh, we love you, Lynna. You're such a wonderful person. We just think you're just a great example, and we're just so happy to be your friend." And then when I just started saying anything that wasn't what they wanted to hear, that's when things really kind of like unraveled for me, So in 2015, after my accident, I'm sitting there in a hospital recovering, right? And I'm thinking to myself, um, I don't think I'll ever be a woman. I mean, I don't think that's going to be something that I'm going to physically be able to do in this current incarnation of me. Of course, I do believe that all of us have the opportunity to incarnate into a female or a male, depending on where we are in our incarnation, right? But in this particular life that I've been given, I was given this life in a male body. Now, expressing gender is another story completely. And I think that society, should allow for people to express themselves as they choose to express themselves. If they choose to express themselves more masculinely, then, that's cool. If they choose to express themselves more femininely, that's cool too. So, but this thought that one who was born one gender, one sex, could actually become the other, like, I don't know, by miraculous intervention or something, or a surgeon's knife or scalpel. I'm sorry, and I don't want to make it like a trigger point for trans people, but it is simply not possible. It's just not something that's feasible because, I know some of you don't want to accept it, but it is what it is. Mark, as much as he wants to be a male or wanted to or whatever that people would think that he would have, he is always going to have a female body. No matter how much I wanted, and I'll admit it. I wanted to be a female. Okay. I can't. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't have to live with that angst and think, oh my gosh, why? I don't need to, because it's something that I can't attain. Now, saying that, we can live our lives as we feel comfortable, as long as we're not taking someone else's place and taking someone else's identity, from them. So, for instance, I won't ever be saying trans women are women. It's not going to happen, because I know that they're not. Trans people are trans people, right? They should be given every right and opportunity to be themselves and stuff, as long as they don't take away the rights of other people. And, I just wanted to say that I feel very much honored to be able to support real women, and to lift them up and to give them that place, right? That place of prominence that they deserve, because we live in this world where it has become very much masculinized, and the role of women and their contribution to society and everything has absolutely been erased and brought to nothing almost. It's like, when you think of the stories and stuff in the past, I mean, there's usually there's women in there. There really is. The story of, say, Adam and Eve was really about Lilith, and if you guys were to look into the story of Lilith, you would understand that it wasn't like Adam and his girlfriends. It was actually, a woman who was birthed, who was birthed by the divine essence, the divine feminine, and became a living being, and actually, didn't want the male who was created to be her helper, because the divine feminine knew that this being needed help, needed assistance, needed someone to carry things and to do things and to help them, with what they were designed to do, which was to create life and to carry on the divine mother's intentions of making beautiful things, and we know that beautiful things come from the feminine essence. They are the only ones who are given the womb to carry life and to be able to bring life into this world and be an extension of that, which is that divine essence of creation. And so instead of telling her story, this became the story of Adam, dot, 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 and, oh, by the way, Adam's wife, the mother of all living, Eve. And it's like, no, that's not what it was about. It was about a female and her story. It's like, even the word his story is like that right there tells you everything. Everything is his story, right? And it's wrong because it's her story. This earth is a living womb of life. They call her Gaia. The essence of the female is in all living things. The essence of the feminine is in all living things. And so this constant burying of the female principle, the feminine principle, is really a travesty. And when our friend Starla started talking about, how she was speaking from that place of pain, that place of trauma, that place of violation, that, it was amazing to hear her heart, because it's like I felt like the heart of the goddess, really speaking, and it was like, I don't know. It just really moved me. And I felt very connected to understanding what she was describing. And she did it so eloquently. I don't know if you guys have the time to watch, but this beautiful woman who was just telling it like it is, and not mincing any words, and being very descriptive and feeling it and owning it as only a woman can, was like amazing. And I just sat there, in awe, seriously. And I know that I married a person who is just like Starla. I mean, if Mark hadn't have done all the transitioning stuff, and which, there are things that, there are drawbacks to what happened and everything. But Mark and I, honestly, we would never have met had we not done what we did, So I'm just, everything happens for a reason. Everything that took place, is for a purpose. And we accept that purpose, because we did this so that we could grow. A lot of people do things for reasons that aren't beneficial, and I think that for Mark and I, for whatever reason, we rode down this path, of thinking we could change our gender. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, you guys are so regretful. If it didn't work out for you, then, maybe you guys, it wasn't for you. And it's like, sometimes I wonder who they think they're talking to, because Mark actually had 2-3 surgeries in one day. I mean, if there isn't someone who is not classified as being more trans than anybody, that would be Mark Angelo Cummings, who underwent a full-on hysterectomy, oophorectomy, double mastectomy, liposuction. I mean, you name it, he did it in one day, And, usually you do a double mastectomy, right? You just do that. That's painful enough. No, 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 no. Mark's like, I am off to the races. I want to get this done, get it out of me. I am not, a woman. I'm a man, blah, blah, blah. Had all that surgery done, was in pain. His mom was crying in the hospital thinking, what are you doing? What is my daughter doing? And sister was like freaking out, got sick. No, no. We did this because we believed that sex change was literally possible. And we did this because we bought into this lie. So if anyone is going to discount our experience, the evidence points to the opposite, because it just is, right? So we are absolutely, we have the platform to speak because, I'm 48, he's 54. Between us is, like almost 25 years of transitioning, and we did what we did because we believed it. And now we do what we do because we believe it. We believe that transitioning children is absolutely wrong and dangerous, and giving them hormones. There's doctors that are wanting to give these kids hormones at like 8 years of age. I mean, if that's not crazy, I don't know what is. You don't go pumping children with some kind of drug, just because you think or they think that they should have been born a girl or a boy or whatever, right? You just don't do that. It's not something that sane people do. And, parents want to like be all like, oh, but I don't want my child to like feel bad about themselves. And it's like, you're not making the child feel bad. It's not that. It's you're damaging your child. Your child will no longer be able to develop as a human being. I mean, this is absolutely wrong. So we speak. We speak because it is our heart to see humanity heal and not continue to destroy itself. Because that's what's happening. Mankind, womankind, humankind is destroying itself. And, we, as responsible human beings, need to speak up and say what we need to say, And if people want to threaten us over that, if people want to threaten us because we say that children shouldn't transition, that, doing these crazy surgeries. I mean, my friend recently from Minnesota had a massive surgery in October of this year. And she is not the same person. I mean, not. Had, I think, 15 surgeries, 10 in 5 days. They were preparing, they were asking her, where do you want us to send you in your body bag? I mean, got a massive infection from a surgery that she should never have bothered to do, I mean, I don't think it's responsible to open up your body for anything. I mean, I know I did it for my tracheal, but it only compromises the body. It only causes dis-ease. That's when your body is not at ease. It's diseased. So, what we do to ourselves, and a lot of times we do these things because we don't like ourselves as we are. We don't appreciate the beautiful being that we were made to be. And we feel like we have to change it. We feel like we have to, like, somehow turn it into something else, or reconfigure it, or defeminize it, or demasculinize it. And if we only would understand that this body that we have is an illusion. It's not real. It's not what we actually have. We're spirit beings. And this life that we live, is very fleeting. And age happens, people change, and wrinkles come. And we need to be able to cope with that, to understand that, and to embrace it, and to move forward with it, instead of like kicking and screaming and complaining and thinking about yesterday and wishing that we were 20 again, or that we would have, a lot of people as transgender people, they live vicariously through these children, and it's really, really sad because, these kids, they think that by doing what they're doing and doing it earlier than the older people did, that they're helping themselves. And yeah, okay. So Johnny doesn't develop an Adam's apple. So he doesn't develop facial hair or whatnot. But Johnny also doesn't develop a front cerebral cortex. He doesn't develop his platelets in his bones to prepare him for life as he gets older. He doesn't, his brain doesn't get to develop as it should. So what ends up happening is these kids are like, they never grow into their adulthood. Now, is that responsible to do that to human beings? So we don't know the story that's going to be written by Jazz Jennings or Nicole Maines. We don't know. We don't know the story that's going to be written, because these kids have literally been used by the medical industrial complex and those who want to push this agenda along. They've used them, and these kids are at risk. Hey, Suze, how are you? I saw you on our live show with Derek. That was so cool. And did you hear the comments that they're making about your appearance on Real Talk with the Cummings the other day? You impacted a lot of people, girl. It was awesome. It was really awesome, because telling your story, really, we've gotten emails from people, and they want to talk about their NDE experience, because I think that if you get an opportunity to be able to share that experience, and to experience it, for one, that is a unique and special privilege that you've been given, and it will impact anyone you tell it to, because that concept of like being so like big, and part of the all, is something that we don't comprehend, because we see our lives in this little this little 5 sense antenna feeling thing we call our body. And when we realize that we are more than just, you know, flesh and bones. It changes you. It really does. So thank you so much for being on our show and for being a moderator in our group and everything. It's so amazing. And I'm looking forward to, we have a friend, Renee, um, who's also going to be sharing her story about her NDE experience. And she has a crazy story to share. She gave me some details about it, but wow. Everybody has a different experience. I mean, for me, I had an NDE experience that was confirmed through a friend here on YouTube who said, "Oh no, Lynna, you did die at the bottom of the mountain. When your car rolled over and you fell asleep, quote unquote, down at the bottom of the mountain, people don't just fall asleep, you know." And I do remember it was just a very warm, comforting sense of just like you don't have to struggle. This is the sense I got. You don't have to struggle. Just rest. And when the light shows up, your help will come. So I did. I don't even remember how peaceful of rest I got seemingly that night when I was down the bottom of that mountain. And it changes you. It really does. Because it's like I left this portal existence of parallel universe kind of thing happen where I left where I was and like touched another dimension, and I still feel like I touched that dimension. And every day that I experience more awakening and more truths and everything, I feel like I'm so like not connected to where I'm at, like, yeah, I'm here in Silver City. Yeah, we rent a house, and we wake up and eat and go to sleep. But I don't know. It just feels different. It feels different, So it's like interacting with people feels different these days compared to how I used to feel back in 2014. Yeah, it's really crazy, because what you think is real is not, and what is not real that they say is not real is real. So Derek was saying that this planet is upside down, like the North is the South Pole, South is the North Pole, and we live in this inverted reality. And when you think about it, what I understand, like, I'm a photographer, and I remember when I was looking through my camera, the image that it takes is actually upside down. So like when I would look inside my camera, I could see the image, but it was like upside down. And from what I understand is that our eyes, when we look and we get the image initially, it's like upside down. And then our brain straightens it out. It's so everything about this construct is inverted. It's totally like not what's real. And that was something that I was thinking about when we were doing our show, and just the whole concept of this earth not even being our original home, and that this planet that we live on is not really the place that we're from, that, we were kind of like, like we died or something, and then our souls were collected, and then we were transplanted into this new planet, which is a fragment of the original one. So everything that we think is real, everything we can perceive with our senses is contained within this matrix. All living beings, all nature, all heavenly bodies, all microscopic bodies, everything. So when you look up into the sky, you're only seeing a copy of what really exists. And, they do this because they want to keep us manipulated. And they use our belief systems. They use sound to create a barrier so that we can't get out. Derek was talking about how he was going to be interviewing David Icke, and they were going to talk about the whole thing of Saturn and the frequencies that Saturn emits and all that. It's going to be really fascinating. I guess it's on the 17th of this month. But most of humanity, just like that movie, the Bird Box, most of humanity is wearing blindfolds. And it's like they're sitting in a dark room and they're trapped in this reality. And the only reason we believe we're trapped, that we are trapped, is because we believe we are. We believe that this is all there is and there is nothing else. We were talking, Mark and I were talking to a guy on Facebook or YouTube or something. He's an atheist, and he says, you guys believe in all this God stuff, and this divine being, this divine essence and all that. That's just a bunch of bunk. We're just gonna, we live, we die, we go to the dust, there's nothing. But it's not true, because science is proving it, quantum physics is proving it, that there's another existence that exists outside of this grid system, So, it's like, it's this barrier, and it keeps us from perceiving and experiencing what's true, the real universe, because while we're here in these bodies, living on this planet, having this quote unquote real life, there's a barrier, and it exists. It's in us, and it's a conscious level. It's a barrier that keeps us from perceiving our reality in its true expression. And it's because of these belief systems, the traumas we've experienced. Everyone's internal grid and barrier is individual to that person according to their own experiences. So we begin to tear down or dismantle these barriers in our own internal grid when we quote unquote wake up and we begin to realize that this reality right here is not what we've been told or what we're led to believe. And it can happen on a real microscopic level, such as personal religious beliefs. I believed in what I had been taught, I thought Jesus died on the cross, the whole story of salvation, the whole manger scene, the whole innocent baby, the whole crucified thing. I believed that, And, when you realize that those belief systems are part of the system of control, it's like, when we go and silence our inner critic and we choose, those precious individual experiences that we endure. And, even those things that are supposedly negative are actually positive for us, to grow. The accident on the mountain for me was monumental for me to understand the reality of where I'm at and who I am. That accident actually opened my eyes to accepting the fact that I would never be a woman. Prior to that, I literally thought that it was possible. So these supernatural experiences, all these synchronicities, when all these things start happening to us, and we often call it like we're piercing the veil or tapping into those experiences and perceptions that aren't usually available to us in our day-to-day lives. That's that inner grid. It's like this metaphorical blindfold. So if we look at the grid as just that, and we just see it as a veil, the Bible says we see things through a glass as if in a glass darkly, dimly or something, but we will know later and be revealed the truth or something like that, right? So the Bible always does reveal certain truths, but there's a purpose for it revealing those truths. It's so that we can be connected to the God that it promotes. In this case, Jesus is pointing us to this father figure that is going to rescue us and deliver us from ourselves and from evil, right? So if we understand that the veil is what we're dealing with, so just like we have our own barrier within us that keeps us from, understanding things, not only on this earth, but on the entire universe that we perceive, that's the thing, the perception. The perception is the lie, the 5 senses that we have, the touch, the feel, the touch, the see, the hear, the taste, the what, all those things, right? That is just a perception. So although we can't physically see this barrier that surrounds us, we can't see it because it surrounds us, right? So it exists in this like a non-physical form, right? It's like people say, "Oh, you can't see the air, but the air exists because you can feel the wind," right? So it's only perceivable in that time-space construct that we call the afterlife after we shed all of our physical limitations. So it's like when people take an ayahuasca trip or, they do some mushrooms or whatever and they go on a trip, it like opens them up to seeing things that are the true existing elements of our existence, So, people go on a trip and they see really crazy things, and they see through people. They see the energy of people. I mean, our friend Suze yesterday said that we see, like she saw waves, sound waves, and that everything was like connected to itself. So it was like, whoa, stuff that we don't see, right? So it's like this barrier of beliefs that we have and this consciousness that's, at this collective human level. And we agree to all these beliefs and perceptions. Christianity has like 3 billion followers, So it's this collective belief system that everybody like is all into, and it makes it this reality for people. So the thing is, we create it, It's like we do this to ourselves. So we don't just, like do this on our own. It's like this collective thing. And it's this frequency. It surrounds us, right? Like we're surrounded by Wi-Fi now. And then in about, probably in the next few months, we're going to be surrounded by another type of like unseen energy called 5G. And I don't know if you guys know what 5G is, but Wi-Fi it works on a level of like microwave radiation frequency that that affects us physically, but we can't see it obviously. But 5G is more sinister because 5G is radio wave frequency, and that can do more damage to the physical body, and it can actually shut down our physical body in ways that microwave energy frequency can't. Because that's what we are. We're electric, right? We're electric beings. So it's crazy, the depth of what is happening to us. So we believe that this is all there is, because we think that we can, that we don't know anything else. Those who have an NDE experience, those who experience things that like blow their minds, and then they come back like and they're like, whoa, it's not like I thought. So we experience these things and we think it's real to us. So our belief systems are built on this collective reality, and we keep it all trapped in this room, and we just keep thinking that this is all there is, and that's all that our overlords and people that are in control of our destinies, or that are trying to control our destinies, want us to know, because they don't want us to know that we are divine beings, and that we're sovereign, and that we have the ability to do amazing things. Jesus himself said, why do you marvel at what I do? You too can do things like this and even greater, right? The kingdom of God's within you, right? And that whole concept is that we don't have to be afraid of our own divine consciousness. Everyone is free to make their own choices about their own lives, but finally, in this day and age, people are finally taking off their blindfolds, and they're seeing the walls of the room, right? This earth, this container that we're all kind of like terrarium that we're all kept in, like pets in some like some aquarium or something, peered through holes that they've created, realizing that they are in fact, we're in some kind of containment, and that a whole new and different existence lies beyond the walls of the room, right? So some people want to go out and explore, other people just want to stay in the room. So no matter how much you want to tell people, hey, this isn't all there is, this isn't it, this isn't what we got going, they just like, no, I like it here. I like the system. I like my things. I like my toys. I like my house. I like everything about this existence. So they just want to fix the walls, maybe add some paint to it, put a new piece of furniture here or there. And they say that the room is just fine because they like it here. And like I said, some are still stumbling around in the dark, wearing their blindfolds. Just like that movie, right? The Bird Box. They just want to be left alone in the corner of the room where they're comfortable, and it won't trip over any of the new furniture, or experience any of the changes that these other crazy people are talking about. People that they say, oh, you guys are conspiracy. You guys believe in Luciferianism. You guys don't believe in the message of Jesus. It's like they're asking, what's wrong with keeping things just the way they are, right? But what those people who are tearing the holes in the wall eventually discover is that soon they'll need to make a choice to keep tearing down the walls, or just be content to leave through one of the holes that are large enough to slip through, because if they keep tearing down the walls, eventually there won't be any more walls, and there's not going to be any more room. The room's only made, into existence by its walls. So you keep tearing at it. So this is true for our, the frequency fence that we have, around this earth. And if we remove that, although it's a great thought, it's like, oh, we could just tear it down and then create a new heaven on earth, Well, that would just destroy the reality as we experience it, because this isn't our reality. This is someone else's reality imposed on us, You know, Earth only exists within the containment of the frequency of this frequency that we have. And if we were to take it apart on our own, we would it's basically Earth as we know it would be no more. So the key is that everything that we can perceive with our senses, everything is contained within this matrix. And everything that we have is only, it's because it's been manipulated, and we've been taught that this is what we have to work with. So I just think there is so much more. There is so much more that we don't understand, about our existence. But it'll take a lifetime to figure it out. But these days, since the veil is opening and the grid is like shredding, we're seeing these things and we're being exposed to them at a quicker rate. So I think it's an exciting time. I really do. And I'm so thrilled that I get to live in this time period. No matter what happens, no matter what takes place in the future, it's going to be amazing, because in the end, I don't die. I know that. I know that I don't die. I know that I live on, because I know that I'm an eternal being of light. And eternal beings of light cannot be destroyed. So if you consider yourself an eternal being of light, you won't be destroyed either. No matter what people are saying, no matter what, if there's a third temple, or if, the ascension is happening, or people are worried about the rapture or the fall of modern society and the devaluing of the dollar. I mean, none of that matters, because we don't really exist in this plane. We're eternal beings of light. Anyway, I rambled on, and thanks for hanging out with me. I don't know why I did it. Just did it. Felt like saying something. But you guys have a great night, and we'll see you another time. Make sure to check us out on YouTube. We have our Real Talk with the Coming show that we do mostly every, what is it? It's like we do it every day, just about. We're not going to do it tomorrow, but we do it every day, and we have different topics. We have different people who pop in. I mean, today's show with Derek Bros was mind-blowing. And, we have John Keane joining us from the Best Damn Podcast. We're hoping to get Jeffrey Doherty on our show. We're dreaming big. Maybe we could get David Eicher, or somebody like David Wilcock or something. It'd be cool. Or maybe Thoth. Who knows? Maybe we'll have Thoth come on, and talk to us. Or maybe Jesus himself. How about that? I don't know. There's lots of possibility when even the sky is not the limit. So you guys have a great night, and thanks again, and we'll see you. Bye.